the healthcare pre-apprenticeship program with River Valley Community College, Dartmouth Health, Workforce Readiness Institute, and Apprenticeship New Hampshire High School program. Our agenda is what is the registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship, the overview of the current opportunity. We'll talk a little bit about course information, healthcare operations and support assistant position at Dartmouth Health. We'll talk about the registered apprenticeship opportunities at Dartmouth Health, and then the next steps. So I'm just going to jump right to what the components are of an apprenticeship. There are several components to an apprenticeship. Number one is that it's employer driven. It always starts with an employer partner, a business, to serve as the sponsor of the apprenticeship. And we're very fortunate to have Dartmouth Health as that sponsor. Our second component is that there is structured on-the-job learning. So that is the hands-on learning that happens at the work site. It is a paid position and the opportunity to work one-on-one with a mentor, which is always a wonderful thing. The third component is that there is classroom education. So there is a course component to this, and we're really excited to share additional information about the pre-apprenticeship course that we've developed. But then we can also know that there is always an educational component, a course component with a registered apprenticeship. The fourth component is progressive wages, meaning that, again, the apprentice is paid. They will start at a beginning wage, and there'll be an ending wage, and then 2 increases in between during the course of the apprenticeship. And then finally, there is a national industry certificate. This is issued by the U.S. Department of Labor, and it indicates that the apprentice has been trained to federal standards in that particular occupation. And it is what we call portable credential, in that it is recognized across the country. I'm going to talk a little bit about the pre-apprenticeship at this point. And the pre-apprenticeship is all about preparing for a successful apprenticeship. So tonight's information session is about our healthcare pre-apprenticeship. So there are several components that are part of a pre-apprenticeship. Number one is that, as I mentioned, it's preparation for the apprenticeship. Number two is that there's typically an approved curriculum. And again, we're excited to share that curriculum that's been developed through River Valley Community College. There is a simulated experience. So there's what we call a work-based learning experience that goes along with it. And then also facilitated entry to the apprenticeship, because the pre-apprenticeship prepares the apprentice for an apprenticeship. Also supportive services that could be in the form of mileage reimbursement. It could mean some financial assistance for, in this case, things like scrub, non-skid shoes, things like that. So supportive services, and then sustainable partnerships. So again, those are the elements of a pre-apprenticeship. And so now we'll get into more of the details about why we're all gathered here this evening, and that's to talk about the Dartmouth Health pre-apprenticeship program. So again, this is an earn and learn model, which is a great combination. It's a winning combination. There is a paid work experience at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center in Lebanon, New Hampshire. And then there's an intro to healthcare course at River Valley Community College on the Claremont campus. The week of December 12th, 2022, and then the course begins the week of January 23rd, 2023. So the course will start up during the spring semester. The age requirement for the healthcare pre-apprenticeship is 17 years or older, and we're really looking for seniors at this point, high school seniors, to participate in the program. We have grant funded tuition, which is wonderful. So for the course, there is no course, and we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. And there's additional grant support as well, as I mentioned, for some of those support services if you might need them. And I just wanted to bring your attention to this wonderful photograph that Jenny included in our presentation tonight. And this was taken at, I guess you'd call it our celebration or graduation ceremony almost, of the pre-apprentices who participated in our first group for the healthcare pre-apprenticeship. And Colin's quote is really worth reading. And I'm so glad you included it, Jenny. He says, the Dartmouth Health Pre-Apprenticeship Program has allowed me to learn the hospital in a natural and effective way while giving me the opportunity to work towards a pharmacy technician apprenticeship. I am grateful for this professional opportunity. So again, I can see Colin and his enthusiasm for the experience as he reflected on it at our celebration. And that's him holding a certificate at the event. So at this point, whoops, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleagues from River Valley Community College, Dan Osborne, as well as Lynn Lagasse. So Dan, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ann. And I hope everybody can hear me because I feel my internet connection is below par tonight. So bear with me. Yes, so I am Dan Osborne. I work at River Valley Community College in the Workforce Development Office. We work with Apprenticeship New Hampshire and Dartmouth to create this program, in particular the didactic classroom portion of it, which you see the topics covered on this slide. And we deliver the material to the pre-apprenticeship class. We are super excited to have this as our second cohort because really the first one we ran earlier was the pilot program and the first of its kind in New Hampshire. So to see the results from a student like Colin that we just saw in Acadia Dellinger on this side were outstanding. And we're really happy to be doing it again. So as Mary Ann said, the coursework is delivered in person at River Valley in Claremont. There is the opportunity to do some online makeup work if we have people who can't make a class. So we don't want people to fall behind or feel if they miss a class, they might fall off the ability to complete. We don't want that to happen. We think this is a great introduction with the introduction to healthcare that this is for other pathways in the medical field. And Dartmouth has been excellent at providing those work-learn opportunities for the students to experience a little taste of what it's like to work at a healthcare institute and what sorts of careers and career paths would be open to them. So the course we're going to talk about, at least the classroom portion of it, is 60 hours of in-person training that is held, as you can see, starting January 23rd. I actually think it starts January 24th, the Tuesday of that week, and runs 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Claremont, and covers topics in medical terminology, human biology, anatomy and physiology, math skills, and computer systems. These professional skills are wonderful. They are a component that is oft overlooked in the classroom training or the classroom education of our students. And I think it's a vital part of their professional growth. So I don't want to take up too much time talking about all that part. What I'd really like to do is to introduce the instructor of the course, and that is Lynn Lagasse. She is a River Valley faculty member. She has taught nursing courses and allied health courses for many years at both River Valley and at Keene State College, and some others as well. So I'm going to let her take over and talk a little bit more in depth about the content that the students will receive and how it ties in to the programs at Dartmouth Health. So without further delay, I'll let Lynn take over.
Thank you, Dan. And thank you all for being here. I'm really excited about our course coming up in January and wanted to just take a moment to talk with you about the topics we'll be covering during our classroom sessions. So we will actually begin at the very beginning, and we'll do that by discussing cells and how they make up the various tissues and organs and systems in the body. We'll also discuss how each individual system within the body, such as the respiratory system, functions and how it's critical to life. So essentially, as one of my former graduates said, Colin, we're going to explore how the body works, but what happens when things go wrong. And interspersed throughout the whole course will be medical terminology. And should you decide to further your education and training within the healthcare system, this will be a great foundation to prepare you for your further education in healthcare, whether that's nursing, medical assistant, pharmacy tech, or even a licensed nursing assistant. The language used in healthcare is universal, and you will come away from this class with a basic level of medical language. In addition to the classroom lectures, as Dan mentioned, we also will have some lab time where we'll actually physically learn how to take vital signs, and that will include blood pressure and oxygen saturation, how to count someone's respiratory rate, how many times a minute do they breathe, how fast is their heart going, and how do we measure that? Plus, we'll also be listening to lung sounds and heart sounds and much more than that. So we will also work on just basic medical math. And I know for some folks, this can be a little bit daunting, but don't worry about it. It's easy and we'll have fun with it. And as Dan mentioned, we're also going to be focusing on development of professional skills, which really is paramount to your success in healthcare. And finally, the knowledge that you gain in this class will position you for success in the healthcare field of your choice. And hopefully, it will inspire you to continue on with your education. And we will definitely have fun as we learn. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Wonderful overview of the course, and again, experts from River Valley Community College. Thank you again. So now we're going to turn it over to, Jenny McCauley, who is from Dartmouth Health Workforce Readiness Institute. And Jenny's going to get into the work component of the healthcare pre-apprenticeship. So take it away, Jenny.
Great, thanks, Marianne. You can jump a slide forward for me. And hello, everybody. I'm Jenny, as Marianne said, and I'm part of the DH team that operates a licensed career school, a training program, as well as our certificate programs, including the pre-apprenticeship that we're talking about tonight. I just want to warn everybody, I'm in Grand Central Station. At time for dinner yet for my little people, so hopefully any little personal interruptions will be minimal, but if you hear them, hopefully it inspires your dinner appetite as well. Before we keep going, I also quickly want to introduce Bethany Lynn, who's here too. If you want to give a little wave, Bethany. Bethany is going to be the supervisor that you would report to during the work experience program if you pre-apprenticeship. So you another teammate as well, Tracy Ruggles, who's not here tonight, is our nurse educator, and she also really helps support your on-site learning through the work experience and helping you bring what you're learning in the classroom with application, what you're doing at DH. So one of the reasons we create programs like this is really to create an opportunity for high school seniors and even recent graduates to prepare for your post-secondary or your post-high school plans. Really believe that this kind of program helps you earn money, which which is always a bonus. But while you gain incredibly strong healthcare experience, you gain exposure to different careers and work environments, and you build transferable work skills that would not only serve you in a future healthcare career, but really wherever your path might take you, you get to practice them live in life in a large organization that's incredibly complex with a lot of different players. And all of that we know from past experience with our former pre-apprentice alumni and alums of our other youth programs. It really helps you make great, smart, informed decisions about what the right path is for you after you graduate from high school. And of course, we hope that that includes continuing to work with us or to train with us. But we really are creating these opportunities to help prepare you for what comes next after high school. So to that end, let's talk a little bit about what the work experience actually is. You can flip to the next slide there, Mary. Perfect, thank you. So the work component of this program is really designed for students specifically because it has a lot of schedule flexibility, and it's also built on the basis of cross-training you to support many different teams and functions. Some of the work that you would be doing includes infection prevention. So that might be helping to clean and disinfect, which are not the same thing, areas across the facility with our environmental services team, which puts you into our inpatient units to be in the hospital alongside our critical care birthing pavilion, see what the difference is in an environment. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What is the pace like in a med-surg inpatient unit compared to a pediatric unit? Also gives you the ability to do the same kind of support at the elbow of our ambulatory clinics. So helping to clean and turn over visit and exam rooms between patient visits. You might be doing some inventory and logistics work. So that's organization, preparation.
Oh, Jenny, you're cutting out. Okay, we got you.
You got me back?
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't lose me again. Linen, blood products, pharmaceuticals, different kinds of medical supplies. You also might be learning some administrative skills. So working with our clinic or inpatient areas on rooming patients, helping patients with self-check-ins, helping visitors, making calls, filing, scheduling, and then also with our dietary services team. This is another really great to inpatient and clinical spaces, and also gives you the chance to interact with patients as you're helping to bring their meals. Those different tasks. Work experience is really designed to train things, but at the end of the day, your own piece of days meant to the work. Really determine what assignments you get and where you go, because it's based on, matching your availability with the needs at the time. So the more you're able to put into it, the more exposure that you will really be able to get. So to the next slide. One of the goals of that exposure is to help you really understand what some of the different pathways are into healthcare, including apprenticeship and the apprenticeship programs that we offer at Dartmouth Health. Through, you can see here our Career Development Center and our Career School, which is licensed with the State of New Hampshire Department of Education. And through that career school, we offer training programs for medical assistants, pharmacy technicians, and surgical technologists. Those three programs are all also connected to apprenticeship and get you almost all the way to an associate's degree at no cost in health sciences from Colby Sawyer College. I think at the end of the day, it's a little less than $400 out of pocket after you account for the learning and the college credit you get in those programs and through the apprenticeship. and then through some of the tuition reimbursement benefits that you have as an employee to complete general education credits. Our Career Development Center, even though these might be a little bit down the line, because there are programs that you would be eligible for after an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, but we also train people in medical laboratory or diagnostic tech, other techs that are related to diagnostic, licensed practice courses, but a continuum of growth opportunities. Work experience. Program. Advanced education. Since 2014, I think we recently hit our over 1,000. Our pre-apprenticeship alums from last year are part of that number because they moved into the training programs.
Thanks.
Next slide, Marianne. So just a moment to give a little bit of additional information about what our apprenticeship programs are. Is this designed to help you prepare specifically to go into apprenticeship? We know that that might not ultimately be the right fit. Goal at the end of the day is to give you that course work that Lynn talked about to help you be successful in these apprenticeship programs. The training is intense. You can see there it's anywhere from 9 weeks to 11 months. Learning is fun. And our partnership with our BCC, is really helping you build some of those academic skills so you can be successful in the learning part of these programs. They're all paid. So you would transition directly from being an employee in the pre-apprenticeship program right into a paid trainee. You're paid throughout the instruction period, so that 9-week to 11-month period. And then you have a guaranteed job at the end. You actually know where you're going to land after you complete the training program before you even go on to our next slide there. Okay. Marianne, you. Oh gosh, we're already at next steps. Geez, I could talk more about apprenticeship. We have time. Maybe I'll turn it over to Bethany just really quickly, who actually is one of our instructors as well for our Surge Tech program, just to give you a little bit more sense of what our training programs at DH are like. Off the cuff, Bethany.
No problem. So everybody, my name is Bethany LaHaye, and I will be the program lead for the pre-apprenticeship program that we'll be running. I have a strong background in surgical technology. In fact, I was a program graduate from our surgical technology program way back in 2016, 17. And for the last several years, I've been working as a clinical instructor in that role. So specifically in our Surge Tech program, that is our longest training program. It runs for 11 months. And we work very closely with Colby Sawyer, just as we do in our Farm Tech and medical assisting platforms. So all while you're taking those training programs specifically, you are considered a Colby Sawyer student. So you have access on campus there through all of their different collaborative resources that they have available, and then you have the option in the MA and PT space to graduate with an associate's degree, and we are actually moving in the Surge Tech space to require the associate's degree upon completion of our 11-month training program. So that's just a little bit of a background about those apprenticeships. And then once you are getting in the programs, you are doing a lot of clinical hands-on experience, and those hours count towards your finished product of the apprenticeship, which I believe is 2,000 hours in the Surge Tech space. And I'm not exactly sure if it's the same for the other two spaces as well. Jenny's nodding her head, that's correct. So while you're in those clinical spaces, you are actually gaining your hours for that apprenticeship on top of the extra support that you'll get upon completion of them to finish your apprenticeship. So really great, exciting opportunities that we have available for that. And this is a great stepping stone to kind of work your way into there and figure out which apprenticeship program might work best for you, as well as the other training programs that we have available through GH. Jenny, I don't think we can hear you.
Trying to fix my audio with my headset.
There you go. We can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Perfect. So this is our next steps. The selection process really begins after tonight. So we got a big check mark on tonight or on watching this recording if you're doing so at a later date to learn more through the information session. The next thing that you really need to do is apply. So there's an application link here. You can scan the QR code. I think it even works all the way through the Zoom screen and everything. I'm dating myself in saying that, but oh well, I still made a QR code. You can scan the QR code. That will take you directly to the job application itself for this opportunity. You can also search for high school under our DH careers page, and the pre-apprenticeship should come up right at the top. Once you have submitted your application, which includes the online application itself, along with your resume and a statement of interest or a cover letter. Through that, we really just want to hear from you what you're hoping to gain from this program. You can share some of your previous experience that you've gained either through working or from school activities, or even responsibilities that you might have in life, caring for animals, caring for siblings or family members. You can share all of that, but what we really want to hear in your statement of interest is why you're interested in this program and what you hope to gain from that. It helps us get to know you. Interviews are then taking place the week of November 14th. So Monday through Thursday, those afternoons, there will be interviews, and we will make program selection calls that Friday. For those who are selected, we would come together as a cohort for a virtual program enrollment session at the end of November, after we are all very satiated from turkey dinner the weekend before. And your actual work experience begins on December 12th. That week, you'll be orienting to your job. You'll be going through the steps to become a DH employee, doing some of your initial training. And then from that week on, your ability to schedule based on your student commitments and your life commitments starts, and the work experience continues all the way through to the end of the classroom experience with Lynn at RVCC in April, after which you'll have the opportunity to continue working. And of course, you will be able at that time as well to participate in the interview process. We guarantee all pre-apprentice participants an interview in any of our DH Workforce Readiness Institute training programs, including our 3 pharmacy tech, medical assistant, and surgical technologist apprenticeship programs. And if you'd like to learn more about the Career Institute itself and the training programs that this pre-apprenticeship and pre-training program is supposed to lead you towards, you can click that or scan that second QR code, and that will take you directly to the website that gives you more information about the apprenticeship programs at DH.
Okay.
I got QR code happy. There's one more taking you
Wow.
right to the application itself. And these are just some images of people who have come before you through some of our different youth programs. In addition to pre-apprenticeship, we also offer a number of different youth work experiences, including summer internships. This is a unique program that gives you an extended amount of time in the organization and then prepares you specifically to think about going into a training program after you graduate.
We're at that time. Any questions, anybody? Thank you, Jenny, for the wonderful overview. It was really informative. And Bethany too, appreciate your input on it and overview of the program. Any questions? Well, feel free to reach out to us if you do have anything that comes up, any questions at all. And our final slide here is just some contact information. If you do have questions, feel free to Gashnig at ccsnh.edu, Marianne again, and hopefully you can hear me. The Work Ready Institute, so the Workforce Ready Institute, WRI at hitchcock.org. And then our RVCC contact is Dan Osborne, who's on the call, D Osborne at ccsnh.edu. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at the moment. And again, if there aren't any final questions, we're so happy that you could join us tonight. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And we look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you, and hope that you will all apply for this incredible opportunity.